Good afternoon all, it's Postbag, and I got a feeling it's Postbag number 2 to the power of 7 minus 1. Huge significance, don't you think? I think so. Let's open this one, which is clearly circular, and see what we have. We have a big lamp holder. Yeah, so this is a cheap plastic lamp holder. Rather unfamiliar to us Brits, actually. We don't really do this E27 or ES27 Edison screw thing. We have the old 22mm bayonet. That looks very non-symmetrically mounted in there. That's pretty horrible, isn't it? I wonder if I can... No, I probably can't adjust that. But yeah, there's a bit of a proximity issue there between there and there going on. Don't like that too much. So let's zoom in and see if I can undo that and do something about it. Doesn't look like it's misaligned. Why isn't that sitting in the right place? Or maybe I could file that hole. No, because that's got a little bezel-y sort of moulded square bit around it. Oh, what am I going to do about that? No, that's all right, look. If I put that in like that, that aligns quite well. I'm going to reassemble this and I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, look, see, reworked, absolutely fine. There are a couple of little plastic bits sticking out there which align that screw receptacle thing. Yeah, that all looks good. That's fixed. Some Chinese writing on there. Now, I've got a bulb for this, so let's see if they mate. Yeah, look, here we are, E27 12 volt. And this one's a nice one. I don't think I did a Postbag on this, so maybe I'll include both of these items in my screen grab in a moment. Yeah, that's got 6 LED strips, filament strips, with these sort of wires running into a central point. Be quite fun to take this one apart, wouldn't it? But yeah, E27. And this is going to be... Oh, that's horrible. Oh no, it does screw in, but it's a bit loose. I don't know whether the dimensioning of the thread on there and the dimensioning of the thread in there are particularly accurate. Oh, it does tighten up. That's okay. Should we stick 12 volts on it? I'm supposed to have in a drawer somewhere limitless supplies of these things because I use them all the time, and yet when it comes to it I can never find any. Right, I need a couple of little short bits of wire to attach that onto there, and I can shove 12 volts from my solar system onto this lamp. Let's do it. What's happening here? I'm tightening this screw up, and the whole of the sort of metal bit that sits in there is all sort of prolapsing out. I don't like the look of that at all. Quite a horrible job you've made of that, Julian. Well, let's plug it in and see if it works. Oh goodness, my batteries are a bit depleted. We haven't seen the sun for many a day. In fact, probably many a week. So we're down to 12.4 volts, but let's plug it in. Oh, that's rather pretty. What happened there? Something moved. Oh, that's not good, is it? That was nearly a dead short across my 12 volts. But yes, that's going to look rather nice. This is going to be the very first lamp I put in my work zone. In fact, do you know what? I'm almost tempted to do this right now. Now, what am I going to use for a switch? Oh, I know. Unscrew the bulb. Yes, and I can even take it indoors so that it doesn't have to live outside. Okay, let's do the screen grab. And so this is the first item. It's an E27. And if you're wondering why I'm shouting, it's because the microphone's not very sensitive on my Logitech webcam, which I now just use as a microphone. Plastic base, screw light, lamp holder, all that stuff, white. ED. What's ED? Oh, gosh, how much are these? 99 cents this was. 99 cents each. Yes, and this is being sold by eDirect-US, even though it came from China. Yeah, I'm really not happy with this because when you get a tight bond between the two threads... Oh, loud motorbike. When you unscrew it, it pulls that threaded inner bit around, and that's what causes it to misalign. And the two connections do get very close to each other. It kind of pops back into place if you do that. But I'm just wondering actually if I drill another hole through there, find a little nut and bolt and screw through there. I mean, it shouldn't be necessary on a cheapie item like this, but I just don't like the fact that these two come very close in contact with each other. I think I might give that a try. Right, this is not going to be easy, but I want to get down in there and sort of drill an extra hole so that I can put a screw through there and stop it doing this thing where it swivels round. Oh, that's gone through. Might have to enlarge that. I've got some little tiny nuts and bolts which I think will fit through that 2mm hole I just drilled. But these are really old. They're 4BA, 8BA, 6BA, 2BA, BA threads. But I think that one will fit. Probably have to be cut down though. I'm just a bit concerned that if I cut this bolt using the method I'm planning to use, i.e. big bolt cutter, I'm going to have a job putting the nut back on. Let's find out. Yeah, looks like it just needs a bit of reworking, and that's gone through. Nice. Right, there we are. Additional little bolt, nut, screw, and a little nut on the back. No lock nut, so it might work loose, but at least that stops the thing rotating when I screw the bulb in and take it out. Very unconvincing fit. I'm almost tempted to put some oil in there or some grease because it's very scrapey. But yeah, let's get some wire on this. Right, I've cut myself a nice bit of wire to go from the lamp holder. There's a little cutout section there, so I'll break that out. To my sort of distribution blocks in the work zone. I hope this is long enough. Now, positive. Got a feeling this lamp is ambipolarity, sort of bipolar, whatever. In other words, there's a bridge rectifier in here. I don't think it matters which way around you connect that. I suppose I could test that. Right, connector with a couple of bits of wire on it. No fuse. Actually, there is a fuse on the other end of this. It's in the cigarette lighter plug. And it works that way around. Oh, that's killed the camera. The auto exposure, hasn't it? What's happened to that? If I'm going to lock the exposure, let's do that. So that way round, it lights up, turn it round, and it lights up. So it doesn't really matter which is positive, but I suppose convention says that the inner connector, the tip, should be positive. So let's do that. The apertures in these screw holes are very big, and my wires look very small in comparison. So I think what I'm going to do is tin these so that they just fatten up a bit before I put them in there, and then crush the solder under the screw. I know you're going to hate that, but that's what I'm going to do. My channel. In fact, I've decided to fatten these up even more by folding them back on themselves and then soldering them. Oh, I haven't left myself much length, have I? Well, it might be alright. Tinning those and then clamping those under the screws. Soldering iron. Yeah, oh no, that's not gonna, yes it's gonna work. Let's get that tinned. With it folded, it's slightly flat, and so that'll fit under the screw. Let's do it. Posy, neggy. Pos, I think, yeah, goes to that little center connector. Right, let's put some fork terminals on to the end. Do you know, it's 2:30 and it's already getting really dark. Let's fold that over. Oh, that's very small. That could have done with being a little bit bigger, but it'll have to do. I'm rushing a bit, you see, because I want to get this done before it gets dark outside. Although, when it does get dark outside, of course, I can test my lovely new work area lamp. Right, let's just tin these and hope that they'll still go into the holes in the... Oh, they might not if they're splayed out like that. The holes in the crimp terminals. Because I'm not crimping, I'm soldering. Come on, so I don't want too much excess of solder on here. Get on there. A little bit of solder. And we'll shove them in the forks. Right, a bit of heat shrink. It's taking a long time to warm up because fundamentally it's pretty cold. at the moment, but that looks pretty nice. I'm going to go and connect that up. No fuse. Right, I've put the lamp holder up there and I'm connecting it in here. Now I put negative on the negative terminal, that's negative battery. I could go on to the unfused positive, but there is a fuse here for the diesel heater, this thing here. So I could tap it off there and go fused and just use the fuse there. I think I'll do that actually. Right, look at that, beautiful. We're going into the fused connection there. I've got to tack that onto the woodwork somehow, but let's put the bulb in and see if my new light works. Yes, it does. Look at that. Oh, I've still fixed the exposure. Let's sort that out. And there we are. I now have light in my work zone and heat. Oh, I've gone and done it again, haven't I? What started as a post bag has turned into a constructional video. Let's have a bit of a tidy up and we'll do another envelope. Right, let's do this one. And the sun has sort of almost come out. It's really quite interesting. Should help the solar power situation, if nothing else. This is a sensor, and I think it's a radar sensor. Yes, here we are. It's got a very funny sort of knob on the top of it. Yeah, that's an odd thing. So this is, I mean, you can get radar sensors, sort of microwave radar sensors as bare boards, but I thought it'd be quite nice to get one that's sort of fully enclosed. So this one's 12 to 24 volts DC, load up to 7 amps. The frequency is 5.8 gigahertz. Coming out of there, I presume. It's got a light dependent diode, I think that is, for sort of not use during daylight. And it's got 3 adjustments for, well, they'd be the usual things of time delay, sensitivity, and sensitivity of the light sensor. In 12 volts to 24, and a switch. Now that's interesting. So it's not an out, it's a switch. I wonder if it's got a relay. Right, it's got the usual unfathomable clips, but I have managed to get that one off literally by using a screwdriver and forcing it. So actually they're not unfathomable. In fact, they're quite good. Oh, wait a minute. That one's not so keen. I don't want to break it, but that's... yeah, that one's not coming off. I've got a feeling this is going to be one of these things. The board is starting to come out, but it's going to be one of these things where the pot alignment is going to have to be all sort of set up and aligned before I push this board back in. What fun and amusement. Out you come, printed circuit board. Out you come. Oh, there it is. Oh! How interesting. Yes, the pot alignment, you have to pre-align it before you put it back. But that's it. Yeah, it is a relay. That's a little antenna piece of wire. So this is the microwave radar sensor unit. I wonder if I can take that off. No, it's got a 3-pin ribbon cable soldered onto the main board, so that's not coming off. So this is 12 to 24 volts in. And that is a 9 volt relay, or in other words, the coil is 9 volts. That must mean that this big device down here is a regulator. I can't see what's written on it, so I can't quite see the voltage. And I don't think that... oh, how's that being held in? Oh, it's sitting on 4 little pegs. I wonder if that would come out. Right, that device down in there, you can just about make out it's an LM317T. So is that the adjustable one or is that a fixed voltage one? Actually, I think I'm going to look that one up. Right, I think it's an adjustable, and there are 2 resistors. They're hard to see, but they're just down there near the blue connectors. So I think that's setting the voltage. Now there's a chip under the module. It's quite hard to read the number, but it says SK807K-DC. Let's look that one up. Right, that's interesting. The SK807K is actually what this whole thing is called. So it looks like that chip has been marked with markings for its application, not the actual chip itself. There's very little else on here other than that chip, the pot. So it must be a special purpose chip that just reads the microwave sensor and drives the relay through a little transistor. There is a little surface mount transistor just in there. There's also a diode, and there's a 4-pin device which looks like a bridge rectifier. Oh no, it might be a 5-pin device. No, it's 4-pin. Yeah, that is a bridge rectifier. Does that mean you can put AC into this thing? Now, this clearly isn't waterproof because this connector, it's a horrible connector actually. These do not open up very nicely at all, but they just poke through these holes. So this will need to be undercover. I think it can be outdoors, but it will need to be undercover. And I just want to check whether it's any better or worse, or how it differs really from a PIR sensor. Right, so let's put it back together. These pots I haven't moved, so they should align with the little control knobs. Yeah, that fits in quite nicely, and then this just clips back on. I mean, it's quite a nice sensor, but it is really for indoor use only, and I don't really like these push fit connectors. They make a really horrible noise. But yeah, I want to see whether this false triggers, or whether it's what the sensitivity is like compared to a PIR. Be worth a try, won't it? And the bulb is this one. It's an E27 12 volt. You can have a 3 watt, 4 watt, or 6 watt. I went for the 6 watt cob LED filament bulb, 360 degree, non-dimmable. Yeah, interesting. That was $3.98, $4 for that. Free shipping, and this came from Jian store. And the sensor is the SK807K DC. I think we know what that means. 12 volts to 24 volts. Of course, it's regulated down to presumably 9 volts internally for that relay. 5.8 gigahertz microwave radar sensor light switch body motion. That was $7.50, which is quite expensive. The bare board ones are much cheaper. I might have a play with one of those at some point. Free shipping, that came from DIY Electronic. And so these are today's Postbag items. The lamp holder, of course, now is screwed to a piece of wood outside, so I can't show that. Big thanks once again to my sponsor, JLC PCB, $2 for 10 PCBs, and they're now doing a 24-hour production turnaround. Also, a big thanks, of course, to Patreon supporters. If you want to be a Patreon supporter, you can click this link here. Another couple of videos up here if you want to watch more of my stuff. And this link here will allow you to subscribe to this channel if not already subscribed. Cheerio.